Hey guys, Ryan here, and today I am here with the first episode of my 2024 NASCAR Power Rankings, where I will be ranking every week the top 10 drivers in the NASCAR Cup Series, or at least in my opinion. You guys are very much open, and there's probably going to be some discussion about my list, so here we are. We're the Tuesday before the Daytona 500, and I'm going to be making my preseason Power Rankings. Obviously, we did have the Clash last week, but I just didn't get the video out in time. So, yeah, we're going to do this week. So, we're going to be going through the top 10 drivers as of right this minute, which, again, is definitely going to be open for debate. And we'll be doing this as a new series on the channel every Tuesday in between weeks. So, hopefully you guys look forward to the series. So, let's start off with number 10, which I think is very much open to be a wild card spot. I think there's a lot of names you could probably put here, and I'll actually throw up a couple of honorable mentions first. Let's go with Bubba Wallace, Ty Gibbs. I'll also throw in there guys like Austin Cindric, who are very much possible for a bounce back season. Bubba and Gibbs, I just want to see them do it for a little bit longer than they have been. And at a more consistent level than they did. Bubba definitely looked the best this season, so I would probably say he would be my tentative 11th spot, but just going with honorable mentions for those three. But, yeah, getting into number 10, it is going to be, I'm going to go with Chris Buescher here for the way he closed out the 2023 season on such a hot streak that he actually finished inside the top 10 in driver points. For the first time for a Roush driver in a long time, it feels like. I'd have to go back probably to the Carl Edwards or Matt Kenseth days to find a driver finishing top 10 in series points despite driving for Roush. Roush has been on a serious decline, but over the last 8 to 12 months, they've really been trending up. Last year's Daytona 500, they looked strong. Throughout the summer, they built speed. That run towards the end of the regular season, Michigan, Richmond, and Daytona, 3 ovals in a row. Buescher got 3 wins there. So, I think Buescher is very much a contender to be in that conversation, top 10 drivers entering this season. So, on my list, he's getting number 10. Number 9, I'm going to go ahead and give number 9 to stage winner, MTJ. And in the reasoning for this is he's a veteran. He's had a very good, he had an amazing regular season. In fact, won the regular season championship just 1 year ago in 2023. But he had a historic, monumental collapse as soon as the playoffs came around. And I think the question of retirement is going to only get louder if he is not able to put up the same kind of numbers or similar numbers in the regular season, finish top 3 to 5 in driver points, and actually avoid a collapse at the end. But I don't think he's really fallen that far talent-wise, so I'm still giving him the credit of being in the top 10, but I will say I don't think I think he is kind of at the end, starting that downward spiral that we saw for a lot of drivers when they hit this part of their career. Harvick had it, Jimmy Johnson had it, Jeff Gordon had it, and Truex might be starting to see that similar slide down the leaderboard. Number 8 on my list is going to go to Tyler Reddick, driving that number 45 car. The last 2 seasons driving for RCR and then the transition over to 2311. He didn't skip a beat. He looked very confident, very consistent all throughout it. He really just looks like the next kind of, not necessarily the next big thing, but I would say if I had to compare him to a driver, he definitely feels like the next Carl Edwards or Matt Kenseth, a consistent race winner, but maybe not necessarily as much of a championship threat. At least not yet. He could definitely build there, but he definitely feels like he's getting that consistency. You can rely on him to win 1, 2, maybe even 3 races a year, and some years that's enough for the championship, depending on which 3 he wins. So definitely think he's deserving of number 8 on this list. I think the new Toyota body is a little bit of a question mark, although what we saw in the Clash gives a lot of hope for the Toyotas. And speaking of the Toyotas, following him up at number 7 will be Christopher Bell, who I think will be one of the top Toyota drivers. He's been to the championship for 2 years in a row, and I don't really see any reason why that would stop now. But, and this is a big but, he did fail to make the Clash at the Coliseum last week, as he just didn't have the speed in qualifying. Now, some of that could be chalked up to the bad track conditions late in the day, but regardless, he was not able to make the field and actually qualified with one of the worst times. I believe he qualified 35th out of 36 entrants, so he finished bottom 2 or 3. And that's just not the mark of a championship driver. Although we have seen the Clash of the Coliseum produce wacky results, it just gives you a little bit to be worried about, where it's like, okay, is he going to have a bit of a slump? I don't think so, but it does cause some worry and causes him to slide down this board. Coming in at number 6 is another driver who failed to qualify on speed last weekend, the defending champion, Ryan Blaney. Now, that championship is a big reason why he's this far up my board. So, number 6, Ryan Blaney. So, obviously, defending champion of the sport. Hard to deny that he's a talented race car driver. My question is more within the how is he in terms of an overall speed and raw results kind of guy. He has had a tough time winning more than one race a year on a consistent basis. And he's historically been the number 2 guy at Penske in terms of just kind of overall results. Now, could this championship be the thing that kind of pushes him over the edge, like Jimmy Johnson in 2006 when he finally broke through to win a championship? It could, but realistically, I think we will see Blaney kind of go back to what he was, which is I could see him going somewhere between 1 to 3 wins and a round of 8 appearance. The question is whether or not he'll be his newfound championship level of experience is gonna be enough to carry him further than that. And right now, I've got him at number 6 on my preseason power rankings. By the way, in case anyone's confused, these are not meant to be where I think they'll finish in points, but I just think Blaney overall, I would give him 6th best driver. So, going on to number 5, we've got William Byron, driver of the number 24 Chevy. The Hendrick cars have been fast, and I find it hard to not put at least 1 or 2 of them on this list. Note, not all the Hendrick drivers are on this list, but William Byron, he won, 6 races last year? He won a ton of races. Just didn't have the consistency to go with it, but the fact that he was putting up winning speed very consistently and in very dominating fashion, especially in the first half of the year, kind of had us feeling like Kyle Larson in 2021. So, if he's able to avoid the Kyle Larson 2022 level slump, I think William Byron could be poised for a deep championship run and possibly even a championship 4 appearance for the number 24 for the first time in years. Then you've got at number 4, you have got Joey Logano, the 2-time champion and 2015 Daytona 500 winner, and the top Ford driver on my list. I think Joey Logano, out of all the Ford drivers, has shown the most consistency. He's got the least amount of change going on around him. He has no new teammates. He's got no changes going on that I'm aware of in terms of the personnel working with him. Unless I missed a crew chief change at some point, I believe he's got the exact same crew working with him. Might have had a tire changer or something get swapped out, but for the most part, this is the Joey Logano crew. I'd be shocked if he isn't one of the best drivers going into this one. And again, he's a recent champion. He's the second most recent champion on this list. And the fact that both the last two championships were Team Penske, I think poised them up for a potential Penske three-peat this year. And I think if you do see a championship, it will probably come from either Logano or Blaney, and my money would be on Logano over Blaney if they were both in the championship fight. Alright, now going on to my top three, we've got Kyle Larson coming in at 3, and I hear you guys, I hear you Hendrick fans, I hear you. I know 2021 happened, but his results since 2021 have kind of been back down to earth, kind of to Kyle Larson 2017 levels, and it feels like he really, aside from his absolute boom season in 2021, really has never developed past a 3 to 5 win season driver. Now, I very much could see him getting that level of accomplishment again, and 3 to 5 can very easily spiral into 6, maybe 7 wins, and typically that's enough to be the winningest driver of a single season. But you gotta be able to get it done when it matters, and he made it to the championship race last year and just wasn't able to edge out Ryan Blaney. Now, potentially the Camaro could end up being the most consistent car, as the other two manufacturers are pretty much unknowns, as they're both complete redesigns of the existing bodies. You got the new Toyota Camry and the new Dark Horse Mustangs coming in. Both designs could have trouble in their first seasons, although, again, in the Clash, we didn't really see that. So, only time will tell, but right now I've got Kyle Larson ranked number 3 on my list. Then you've got, coming in at number 2, and I will be fully honest, this could be a little bit of bias, but we've got Kyle Busch coming in as the second best driver on my list. I put him ahead of the other Kyle. Again, you could very much probably swap those two around, because Kyle Larson has had more success in the last couple of years. But Kyle Busch last year, I think he showed he is not done, winning 3 races in the first half of the season. Obviously, the winless drought to end the season, a little bit of a concern, and hopefully that isn't a sign of things to come. But the fact that he went from the situation he was at with Gibbs, where he really didn't even look like a title contender, and then he's able to go and win 3 races last year in his first year with a brand new team. I think that bodes very well for him. Also coming very close to winning the Daytona 500 as well. That being a landmark race, if he wins that race, I think he'll say that the season's a success, even if he goes winless for the final 35. But I wouldn't be shocked to see Kyle making deep playoff run, though, if he does get the momentum going at the right time. You could see him very solidly in championship form for his 3rd championship. And then going on to number 1, I don't think this one's going to be too much of a surprise, especially after you've heard the names I've given so far. Number 1 is Denny Hamlin. Won the Clash, looked absolutely decimating in the Clash in terms of speed. He was one of the fastest drivers last year, especially in the playoffs when it counted most. Getting himself a 5th overall points finish. He did miss out on the championship race, but making it all the way up to 5th overall in points is no small feat. He's been one of the best drivers for a few years, and again, those Toyotas showed a lot of speed in Clash practice, and I might be putting a little bit of weight on that, but also his ability to actually win on a short track like that. I mean, short tracks are a specialty, but I think the number 11 and Denny Hamlin, this could be, not to spend a Dallas Cowboys quote, but it could be his year. But he does have the massive hurdle to overcome at the end, where he has not actually finished the deal and won a championship yet. So, could it be Denny Hamlin's year? Maybe. Do I think he's the best driver right now? I would say yes. I think he is probably the best driver at this current moment. Although I could very much understand if you wanted to put him underneath the Kyle Busch's, Kyle Larson's, and Joey Logano's of the world. If you wanted to move him down, I wouldn't blame you. But right now, I'm saying he's number 1, especially where we're factoring in I'm going to factor in what race is coming up, which is the Daytona 500. I definitely see him being able to show some of his prowess at one of his best tracks. He's won the 500 3 times. Wouldn't be shocked to see him win it a 4th time here this year. So that is my power ranking. So a quick recap in case you guys weren't paying attention or just skipped to the end to see the list. Number 10 was Buescher. 9th, MTJ. 8th was Tyler Reddick. 7th, Christopher Bell. 6th, Ryan Blaney. 5th, William Byron. 4th, Joey Logano. 4th, Joey Logano. 3rd, Kyle Larson. 2nd, Kyle Busch. And number 1, Denny Hamlin. So, thank you guys all for everybody that tuned in for this episode of NASCAR Power Rankings. Power Rankings, again, will be coming out every Tuesday after the race. So, be looking for these next Tuesday to hear my Power Rankings after whatever we see this weekend at Daytona. We'll have Daytona 500 qualifying. We got duels, and we got the race. So, a lot of information to potentially go off of, even though Daytona does tend to be a bit of a revolver when it comes to whether or not a driver can win or crash. So, again, if you guys enjoyed, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you guys are new so you guys don't miss any future videos or live streams. Speaking of live streams, we do have a bunch of streams this weekend. We will be streaming the Daytona 500 qualifying. We'll be streaming the truck race on Friday, the duels on Thursday, ARCA and Xfinity, a doubleheader there on Saturday, and then the Daytona 500 on Sunday, all of that weather permitting, because the forecast does not look great. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you guys did, I will see you guys next video, live stream, whatever you guys decide to do with the rest of your day. Have a great day, everybody, and goodbye!